Hi everybody, it's Barbara here from Fay Lily Crafting. It has been a while, but unfortunately life situations just kind of took over and I've just not been able to get on and do any crafting. So I'm here now. So I wanted to show you how I do my flowers. These little flowers here. I use them from these little flower petals, which are wisteria. And the beauty of these is that you can do them any colour and you don't have to put glitter on them. I'm just a very glittery kind of person. And the beauty of it is that you can make them any way you want and put anything in the middle that you like. And so you can put just glitter on them, or you can put glitter on the edges. It varies, whatever takes your fancy. But I want to show you how I go about making them go from this to this. So without ado, let me show you. Let's put those away. So I start off with these. Now these are wisteria and I get them from Amazon and they come in a massive pack. But I don't mind that because I use them in the garden as fake flowers. And they pretty up my arbour out the front, which I've turned into like a fairy garden. But I also use them for these flowers, and all I have to do is literally remove the petals, simple as, off of there, and this can provide me with so many petals. As you can see, I get them in white and I get them in purple. The purple ones I tend to use for darker colours. You can use these as is on their own and just put a little bit of Mod Podge on them, or varnish, or whatever you want to, and a little bit of sparkle, and just use them as the purple. Or you can enhance them with other darker colours. But that's how I get the petals from the wisteria, which you can get off of Amazon. So the next step would be to colour them. Now what I use is mica powder. I'm just going to use a green one. This is glitter green. And I use the Deco Art Duraclear Gloss Varnish. Now the reason I use this combination is with mica powder, you need something that's going to let it bind and not smear. So I don't know whether you've ever tried doing watercolors or anything like that with mica powders. But when you just add water or anything like that, it just rubs off. You rub it and it will come off on your finger. But when you mix it with a varnish or like Mod Podge or something like that, it will not do that. And you'll see when I do these. So how I go about it is just, sure I'm in frame here, just add, do you know, I'm going to get one that's a little bit cleaner than that. It's just got little bits and pieces in them. That's okay. So we go about, I'm just going to do a tiny little bit. Now when I'm doing them in bulk, I would fill that up. But I'm literally just going to do a tiny little bit. Just to show you. I always like to wipe my tools. There we go. That's ready for the next one then. And then we go in with a bit of the Deco Art. Now you don't need too much. And then I'll get one of my little things. I've used this, but it'll be fine because it's just mixing. And that's another thing, when you use the varnish and stuff, it will seal. So it won't mix into another colour and contaminate it. It's like when I use the Mod Podge on top with the sparkle. I can dip my brush into my Mod Podge and then brush it onto the flower after it's been painted, and not get any residue of the paint on the actual brush that I'm using, and it's simply because it's been sealed by this varnish. And you'll see in a minute what I mean. So that's mixed, and then literally what we do is get our paintbrush and just paint that colour on. And you get that beautiful mica sheen, like so. And it just goes nicely into the flower. You can do this on any silk flower, you know, any artificial flowers that you may have. Depending on what colour they are will depend on how the colour of the paint will come out. I mean, that's why I tend to like using white, because it will take any colour a lot better than, say, like the purple ones. And hence why I use the purple ones for any darker colours like purples or blues, or sometimes if I just want my colour blue to be the same as the colour I want it, as is in the pot, I might not use the colour, the purple ones, just simply because the colour of the actual petal will change the colour that is going on. So I'm just showing you this, just doing a couple of petals so you can see how easy it is. Some people might think this is time consuming, but for me, I love them, and it's so relaxing. And I'm sat here because I have my craft room is my summer house down in the bottom of the garden, so I can sit here listening to my water features, listening to the birds sing when I've got my door open, and yeah, just chill out doing these. And excuse me, sorry. And that is pretty much it as far as the painting's concerned. Now, you'd leave those to dry, and what I'm going to do is show you. Just wipe that off because it's a bit wet. Just going to quickly pause the video a second because I just need to grab some that are already dry, and then I can show you the next phase. Okay, so just bear with me one moment, and I will be back. Okay, there we go. Now these ones I've done the other day, and this is what I wanted to show you, is with the mixture of the powder and the varnish, if it's with water you would rub it and it'll come off in your hands quite easily, but with this you can see my thumb is kind of, well, it's got a bit of thing on there. Let's choose that one. You can see there's nothing on that one. Now if I rub that, usually if it's like water or mica powder, the dust would come off. Now I'm rubbering quite vigorously, and look, nothing, absolutely nothing. Show you again, nothing. And that's why I like using this combination. You can use whatever you've got in your stash. Don't go out and buy anything specific just because I'm using this. You will most probably have some kind of varnish in your stash, like Mod Podge or something like that, that would also work. But the next stage, once they're dry, because obviously these ones are still drying, once they've got like this, now I only come across this the other day because I was watching, I think I was watching a craft video on how to make paper beads, and the lady I was watching used this, which is Mod Podge Sparkle. I didn't even know it existed. I think her name was Jenny Belly, I think was the name of her YouTube channel, and she was using this just to cover them with a glaze but give them a little bit of a sparkle. And I was quite amazed. And let me just show you ones that I did yesterday that I used this on, because just to show you, when you just use on the edge with glitter, I mean, you get a lot of glitter. I tried it on, oh, I don't know whether I can find it in here actually. Here we go. I tried putting glitter all over, but as you can see, you then lose the colour of the flower. I mean, it's lovely for glitter, but I want to be able to see the colour of the flower as well. So I wanted something a little bit more subtle, but unfortunately when you put Mod Podge or varnish or whatever over it and then add glitter, it just ends up in a big bulk like that. And hence why I ended up with just going with the edges on this one. But when this lady said about this, I thought, all right, let me give it a whirl. So I ordered it, got it yesterday, and tried it on these ones. Now, I'm hoping it will show on camera, but can you see there's just a slight sparkle, but you can still see the colour of the flower, but you've got the sparkle, which is exactly what I wanted. I can still do the edges with a little bit more bling if I wanted to, but if I wanted to leave it plain with just a nice subtle sparkle, then this is the stuff. I'm not promoting it or anything like that. It's just she mentioned it and I thought, I love sparkle, but to get a nice little, just a nice little shimmer of a sparkle rather than a big bang sparkle, if you like, this is brilliant. So I would recommend that, and that's what I'm going to use now. Let me just put those away. Okay, so I need another brush for this. Okay, right, and this is why I said I'm not worried about dipping my brush into the Mod Podge and then onto here, because this is safe. Like I said, nothing's coming off on this, so it's not going to come off on my brush. So I'm quite happy to dip my brush in my Mod Podge. Some people would most probably be screaming at me, but it's fine. Okay, don't worry. And then we just literally just paint it on. Get your brush and paint it on. And obviously you can see the excess white at the moment of the Mod Podge, but that dries clear, as you saw on the blue ones. And it gives a nice sealant to it as well. I mean, if you wanted to use these outside, I would say once you've done them, maybe give them, you know, a coat of the dishwasher safe Mod Podge. If you have that, to give them like a waterproof filming on the top and on the bottom, just a thin layer like this, because you don't want them rock hard, do you? You can still maneuver them about and stuff, but it just gives them a little bit of waterproofing. Or if you're a person that uses resin and likes to use resin, then you could always coat them with a little bit of UV resin if you wanted to as well. And it's as simple as that, just literally painting them on. Quite straightforward. But I am so glad I came across this Mod Podge Sparkle. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. Sorry about that. I've not long had an upper respiratory chest infection, which took me about 3 weeks to get under control, because I suffer with my respiratory since I was a child. And I make sure you're doing it the right side as well, the shiny side. And so it always takes me a lot longer, hence why I hate getting colds and stuff. It takes me a lot longer to get better. So I do apologise if I sound a little bit croaky and I end up coughing a little bit. because I don't tend to talk a lot, except when I'm on here telling you what I'm doing. There we go. And then those will dry, and then they will look like the blue ones that I've just shown you. Now I'm just going to quickly squirt this with some alcohol spray just to give it a quick clean, because I don't want that podge drying on the brush. So I just give it a good spray with the alcohol. And then just leave that there, and I can go and wash them properly in a little while. So those ones are all going to be drying. So the next stage would be putting them together. So you can have them on their own, in their own colour, or like I like doing is putting two different colours together. So I've got two different blues here, and I've got some little flower flat back gem things that you can put in the middle, or I've got the brads that have got like just a little different coloured gem in the middle. And the nice thing about these, when you've got the different coloured gems, you can pick it in comparison to what your colour of your flower is. Now I'm going to use brads at the moment because I haven't got my hot glue gun on the go to be able to put these in, so I'm just going to use the brads, and so you can see. So we've got the blue, and now I've got light blue, and I've also got dark blue in here somewhere. There we go. So let's do one where I have, and what I do, just so you see, let me just move those out of the way. When you put them together, you want the petals to be going not over the petals again. You want it to go in between the slits. Can you see? Like that. So that then you've got the petal underneath is showing. Okay, and then when you go with the next one on top, that would go in between as well. Okay, so that you've still got the flowers. And seeing as I've got two dark and one light, I'm going to use a light gem brad. But what I'm going to do is put them in individually, making sure that I've got the petals the right way around. Okay, and then number 3 going in there, and then just split the pin like so, and then I just crunch it up a little bit and then let it open up. And there you have your flower. It will disperse a bit more. Now you can then add a little bit of glitter around the edges, or you could just leave it like that with a little bit of glitter. Entirely up to you. And you don't even have to put, you know, the glitter on the Mod Podge sparkle. You could just leave it plain and just have a plain colour without any sparkle whatsoever. But that's how simple they are to make. So let's make one with 2 lighter blues and 1, and we'll use the darker. So we'll go with the light blue first, then we'll go with the dark, and then we'll go with the light, and then split the pin at the back. Sometimes handy having longer nails. And then just scrunch it up, and there you go. There's your flower. And these brads I would have got from Amazon. Most things you see that I have, I'll either come from Amazon, Temu, or charity shops, or people will give me bits and pieces, like jewelry, you know, old costume jewelry that I can break up and use and stuff like that. But mostly it will come from Amazon, Temu, or charity shops. Okay, so yeah, there you go. That's how simple it is. And then if you wanted to put glitter on the edges, you would literally just put a little bit of Mod Podge on the edge and then put a little bit of glitter. And that would be it. So, nice and simple, nice and straightforward. But yeah, so you go from having a simple white flower like that to painting it with the mica powder with the varnish, to then adding a little bit of sparkle just so that you can still see the colour of the flower, then putting it all together with a little brad. I mean, you could, like I said, have different style middles like that, entirely up to you. But that is pretty much how you make these little flowers. I really hope that you've liked this little video I've put together, and hope you inspires you and that you give it a go. And let me know, you know, if you do give it a go, let me know and tell me in the comments how it goes. But nice to be back, and I look forward to doing another video soon. And if you'd like to see more of my content going forward, please like, share and comment on the video. That would be fabulous. And subscribe if you feel like you would like to, then you could subscribe and ring that, you know, notification bell so that you'll know when I do actually send out another video. I do hope to get back into doing more regular videos now and see how it goes. But for now, that's me, Barbara at Faylily Crafting. I hope you all have a fabulous day. Take care and look forward to speaking to you all soon again. Bye for now.